Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wardens of Regrowth, the Kingmaker campaign here on the old RollTales. Mike Alexander Cross, your Game Master as ever. Now, before we get on with today's session good and proper. Level up time, level 7. We didn't go over it last time as we wanted to cover some story beats and get them done, but here today, let's get it sorted and let's inform you all who join us what the Wardens achieved at level 7 and what they've taken. So, Dave, for Anden and BB, level 7, what's it looking like for you?
Yeah, well, odd levels are new spell rank levels. So I picked up, well, all of the spells.
All the things, all the things.
I could just choose which ones I like. And then we got a general feat, and I figured, considering how everything's been going, I can now not only predict the weather, but I can influence it.
Nice.
Influence nature.
It's a good skill to have. And I believe expert spell rank for your spell casting now.
Indeed. More numbers.
More numbers, more power. Is that it for you and BB?
I think so.
Sweet. All right, Greg, the fighter man, how are you finding the build so far and what's level 7 looking like for Tharsus?
I'm a big fan. Some people might know, I love a polearm. I love polearm builds.
You do.
I really do. So at level 7, I became a master of perception.
Nice.
A master of athletics.
Okay.
And I picked up the general feat of toughness, just because it might be slightly handy after the whole Golka fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit more than handy. And anything off your make? No, spell ranks don't go off yet.
No, mine's very weird. Mine can only increase if I take a feat to increase them.
Also, about your Great of Dark Vision, you may have already found this out, but I've been reading up on it. And what Great of Dark Vision does for your Dwarven character, if they're not a fetchling, because you got confused with Ronan, I believe,
yes,
is you can see, your advantage with Great of Dark Vision is you can see in magical darkness.
Ah, there we go.
So that's what Great of Dark Vision does in 2E as well. But let's go over to the other half of heavy metal. Jack, level 7 for Theon. How's he looking?
Oh, Theon's looking awesome. It's funny because I think heavy metal's been like, they're like gym buddies or something, because I too am now a master in athletics at this level.
Nice.
The rest of Theon's level was very reactionary to the issues that he had in the last fight. He didn't appreciate going down the way he did, so he also took toughness and has significantly more health. And on top of that, he did not appreciate being influenced by the effects by Negrundi. So he is now a master of will.
Monks.
So hopefully that won't happen again.
Yep. Path to Perfection, I think it's called. Good
yes.
stuff. Right. All right.
Oh, and I also got my weapon specialization. So things like my sword, which I am an expert in, I get additional damage on.
Very good. Very, very, very good. And finally, the spellcaster, the second spellcaster of the team. Lexi, how's Belladonna looking at 7?
Belladonna is obviously an expert spellcaster too now.
Nice.
She's picked up our third apparition, which I believe we did see last session with the crafters in the vault.
We did.
Technically, it's supposed to be crafter singular, but I flavored it a bit for fun.
Yeah, that's absolutely cool. Makes sense for our Golka's Fortress as well.
Yeah. And otherwise, all I've done is, all that's important really is I picked up shield block with a general feat. And obviously I'm into 4th level spells now, but you'll see those as they come.
Yep, getting up there now, 4th rank spells. The game is progressing. So let's do the recap and let's see where it's progressing to. On the last time we played Kingmaker, the Wardens of Regrowth, Negrundi was downed and defeated. After dealing with the remaining Hobgoblin mercenaries, coming to a peaceful conclusion with them, if still slightly tense, they received information out of them and allowed them to go. In fact, a letter of recommendation was even written if they still wish to seek employment at Regrowth. So who knows, maybe we will see them again. The party moved back to Regrowth, and we had about a month of downtime. Well, not exactly a month, a couple of weeks, but it's been a month in total since Kelvin and Bolric fell. There was a wake, a public wake, and then there was some private moments with the player characters during downtime. For example, issues with Theo and Megarvan continued, and also research was done into the mysterious nightmares of Regrowth, originally caused by the cult of Gyrana. They now seemingly have vanished into thin air. It's been speculated that they were either driven out once they realised that the former party was onto them, or they were inadvertently killed in Hulgolka's attack. Either way, they've gone quiet. The nightmares in Regrowth have seemingly ceased. But we're going to have to wait and see if that is truly the end of it, or if they're going to come back again. Meanwhile, the Wardens had an interesting meeting with one of the Enbeth Travellers, a group of hunters / rangers / guides who operate in the Stolen Lands. They were represented by their leader, a man by the name of Jamel Visser, who offered the Wardens and also the Council of Regrowth, some of the members, a bit of a R&R at their Hunter's Lodge, not too far away from Regrowth, off to the southeast. After conversing and talking about it, the party agreed with 4 of the council members to take some downtime and properly mourn Ulrich and Kelvin in a less public setting. Jamal also wanted to discuss recent tactics in regards to incidences going on in the Stolen Lands and how best Regrowth and the Travellers can coordinate in regards to keeping the people safe. So, with all of that in mind, the council members went ahead with Jamal and the Wardens set out the next day. And that is where we bring the game back in, literally hitting the road one more time. So, we roughly spoke about it last time in regards to how you are getting to the Hunter's Lodge, which is about 2 to 3 hexes off to your southeast. I have made rolls in the background during preparation in regards to potential random encounters. So let's get this underway. Last time, as you set out from Regrowth, let me set the date for you. It is actually now Sunday, and I believe it is the first month of Eridus. It is Sunday, Eridus 1st, 4710. You set out at, let's say, let's make it a nice easy 7 AM. And you were talking about following the river. Is that still the plan? Or do you have another means and method of travel?
Yeah, I think we're still on the river.
Okay.
Yep.
It's the most sensible choice, and I believe the hunters agreed with us.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Anden, I would still like you to make a survival check secret to navigate, please. Any bonuses or cantrips that may aid you with this, go ahead and use them. You're pretty confident on the way and which way to go, so the DC is going to be incredibly low. It's just for the old case of sod's law and letting the dice tell the story.
Oakley dokley. Forest passage. Rain expertise.
Not in forest for
Yeah.
this place.
Pardon?
You won't be in forest for this place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I believe you used to get... Yeah, and this area that you're heading off to the southeast is not a forested area, it's hills. Okay, the roll has come in, and thank you very much. It's an easy journey to start with. You follow the river out of Regrowth, the Tuskwater Lake in particular, and the first hex travel is very uneventful. The weather today is nice and clear. It seems like after Hulgolka's defeat, the Stolen Lands are easing up again. Almost like they knew something was wrong with it. But now, things seem good again. How long that's going to last is another story. As you make it into the next hex, following the Gonorrhea River, you are getting closer and closer to the Hunter's Lodge. But this is as far as you can travel for the night. Anden, you rolled a 20, which is more than enough. The DC for your level now is a 23, however, -5 due to, quite frankly, the easy route, so you made the check safely. It will take you at least the morning of tomorrow in order to reach the Hunter's Lodge. So you set up camp for the night at a secluded hillside, and that's where we're going to zoom in on right now. As the wardens pitch camp for the night, they are resting and relaxing. But I wanted to share this information with you in a potential RP setting. For as you are chilling for the evening, Anden is holding open a scrap of parchment in their hands. 2 scraps of parchment actually, roughly A4 paper size each piece of parchment. Because during downtime, last time we played, Anden, you made a downtime roll to try and find out whatever you could about the locks of hair.
Yeah.
This is going to be the result of your downtime activity and what you rolled. So, you convened with the council and you've been given these parchments of information that all of them managed to muster and put together for you. The findings are both new and old. The old news is stuff you already knew. This is a Fae influence on the region. This is being done by a Fae, and it is probably the reason why the environment around the stolen lands, since our venture began, has had that Fae feel to it, because there has been increased Fae activity, or traces of Fae, and their shenanigans are becoming more and more frequent. Belladonna, you are probably also fairly well attuned to this, and it probably stuck out a bit like a sore thumb when Isabella actually moved you down into Regrowth with your family. But as you rolled so well in the downtime action, Anden, the council were able to determine what sort of Fae these locks of hair belong to. They can't isolate to which one exactly, but they can confirm that these locks of hair belong to one Fae of the nymph family. The floor is yours with that information, Anden. What would you like to do?
I'm looking at the pieces of paper, and I'm like, well, I suppose that tells me something. Don't know if it would help to be more specific. I don't know much about the myself. Would anybody know anything about sorts of nymphs or something?
I mean, I can ask her ladyship.
Alright, in that case, if anyone would like to, if they have Fae / First World Law, that will work. Nature will work. For you, Belladonna, if you wish to commune with your Fae apparition, then that will be diplomacy.
She specifically gives me Fae Law, is what I...
Fae Law will also work as well. So if anybody would like to roll those checks, make them secret, but feel free to roll them up.
I just wasn't sure if you would... I guess thinking about nymphs is separate from asking her about the hair.
You already made a rough check on that last time, and she's given
that's why I wasn't sure about if I could roll again.
You can, yes. This is kind of like a separate... If you were investigator, this is another case you are opening. Connected, but still a separate case.
There you go.
All right. Belladonna, in your case, your Fey apparition is being very, very quiet. I have told you what I am prepared to say. The nymph family, you should know. Anden, you think on it some more. And you rolled a 30. Belladonna rolled a 17. So regular success, well, one regular success for you and a regular failure from Belladonna. It was just a case of there was any critical failures for potential false information. And you claim that you don't know a lot about nymphs. But then as you ponder in front of the fire, looking at the parchment and the pieces of paper, your mind travels back to when you were a happily married dwarf and the travels you did with your spouse. And you recall that you did learn a little bit about the nymph family. For example, nymphs include creatures such as dryads, lampards, naiads, creature known as a samahora, and also, let's see, I can't pronounce this one, so I will put it into the chat. Hesperid? Let's see if everyone can have a go at that.
Oh, Hesperid.
Hesperid. Yeah, so you know nymphs are a family of Fae, and you know that dryads, Hesperids, lampards, they fall under the nymph category. And what you know
To
about...
be a pain in the ass, technically the plural is Hesperides because it's Greek.
Thank you very much. Good to know. Good to know. You learned something new. And I'll give you the base information on nymphs. Nymphs are a family of Fae who have a deep association with the natural world. They often take the form of beautiful humanoids with elven features that matches their abodes. The most common of their kind are dryads, spirits who embody great trees, but many other kind of nymphs exist, including naiads, who watch over bodies of water. All nymphs are guardians of some element of nature, often a single tree or pond, but in the case of the nymph queens, they can watch over whole forests or massive bodies of water. And what little you know about nymph queens is they are incredibly powerful, who rule over entire regions or untouched wilderness, not just single trees or ponds. Every variety of nymph can have a queen. Naiad queens are among the most prominent and more often interact with nearby mortals. Thus, some scholars refer to the naiad queens as simply nymphs. And that is what you know.
I look at my monarch of the Fey Court nervously.
Like Listrion, my old neighbour, when we were up in the Elven Conclave. No. They've translated it back to common for me. I knew the Elvish. Nah, I know all about them. It's probably a queen. They can bestow gifts to multiple individuals in different places. Strange, though they would side with ostensibly the people who'd most damage the forest.
Would they, though?
Awkwardly realizing my focus spell is called Nymph's Grace.
Ooh.
Are you suggesting that they took them?
Are they the ones most likely to damage nature? Or does this nymph queen see us as the one that's more likely to change the forest?
Well, Algolka decided to build a bloody great road from his fortress by clear-cutting half the grove out and miles off into the distance.
I scratch the back of my neck awkwardly. It's worth remembering that nature and change are one and the same. So the nymphs aren't, especially the first world is nothing but changed. So nymphs aren't necessarily against change so much as they want their forest to live, whatever form that may be.
Right.
I still don't think Hargalka's actions, match up with the desires of a nymph, of a dryad queen, but...
Hear me out. You say that this queen is perhaps encouraging multiple people to settle in the same region, yes? Well, the way I see it, if every group that attempts to settle here ends up fighting with every other group that attempts to settle here, no one will ever settle here. Turn your enemies against themselves. Let them destroy each other.
Then why haven't we been?
Well, perhaps you just have the will to not be influenced by such a thing.
Suppose it was.
Just the Fae playing their games. Our lives don't mean much to them.
Not my forest, but I was taking care of it. Well, I was supposed to be taking care of it for a long time. It just doesn't make sense to me that... What if they've got one captive? What if they're taking this power?
Perhaps, but then how would it influence different people across the land who have nothing to do with each other?
Even if you
trade one mastermind for another.
Even if you hold a Fae captive, they have ways of reaching their influence far beyond where you can see them. I mean, even Irony is being visited by an Aridonian monk from who knows how long ago.
But then why not reach out to us? Let's be honest, if a creature were to reach out to a group such as ours, requesting aid for being captured by some nefarious force, I imagine we would ride just to save the day.
The Fae don't like to work directly, but I would remind you that one's looking over my shoulder right now.
And
Well, this is awkward.
being decidedly unhelpful.
She says I should know this already, and she doesn't like repeating herself.
Right.
Her
Well-
ladyship doesn't really tolerate annoyances.
Well, there's not much we can do about it now. We'll just have to keep looking into it with a new potential perspective.
For what it's worth, I don't find you the least bit annoying.
I think that's going to be a scene fade out as the wardens get their heads down for the night, pondering these questions, but maybe having a slightly better understanding of what they are potentially dealing with here. We go to the next day in the Stolen Lands. Moon Day, Galerion Monday, Eridus 2nd, 4710. Anden, it won't be too hard once again, but let's have a quick navigation check-in secret for you, please. Just in case the dice are like, haha, got ya.
Oakley dokley.
Alright, fantastic stuff. Yep, the next day you make it to the Hunter's Lodge without trouble. In fact, you rolled a regular success, Anden, so I'm going to rule you will get there just before, or just after actually, 11 AM. Let's go to the Hunter's Lodge. So, you arrive outside the front of the Hunter's Lodge. By Jamel's directions, he was absolutely correct. You have to go north of the river and go up into the hills slightly, where you find the Hunter's Lodge in a secluded but quite accessible spot. There is a pathway that takes form in the nature around here and leads you through a, not quite a forest, but almost like a small woods on the hillside, and the lodge stands before you. There seems to be a ground floor, a first floor, potentially maybe an attic as well. It's made of stone and wood, and it's pretty well carved out. It is being placed and nestled into a nice spot where nature is still allowed to flourish, but yet this building, this little bit of civilization, doesn't stand out of place and is certainly kept within nature's balance. But like Silverven Hall, you have arrived. The double doors to the entryway are in front of you. Feel free to enter. Once again, this is kind of a open sort of map environment. You interact with it, you discover, and you will learn and get what you need to. So, as you start to make your way up to the double doors, what's BB going to do, Anden?
BB's seen that there are a bunch of tables laden with food through the window after we've been on a bit of a trek, and she just like dashes up there to like stand up on her hind legs and like put her paws on the windowsill, have a big sniff.
Damn, I could go for some of that too, BB.
Yeah, what they're looking through, for those who are listening in, is by the entryway there is a window off to the east, and this window looks into a fantastic dining hall that is being set up with various fruits, meats, vegetables. It looks like a feast is definitely planned, and it's definitely set up for more than just the four of you.
Am I right in assuming that the NPCs and all that were going to be coming along traveled separately?
Technically, they're already here. They left the day before you.
Gotcha.
Tell you
Well-
what, BB, if I get a window seat and you're not allowed in, I'll drop you a whole chicken out the window.
Well, shall we knock?
If you want to knock. Do we need to knock?
Seems the polite thing.
Just walk into these places most of the time.
You are expected, so feel free to enter.
Theon will toe the line perfectly. He's going to knock and then open the door.
You look into the entry hall of the Embeth Traveller's Lodge, and you see Jamal right in front of you as he exits a door off to the east, which you presume leads to that dining hall through the window. Notices you all open the doors, and he greets you warmly. Ah, there you are. Please come in. Welcome to the Lodge of the Embeth Travelers. Feel free to make yourselves at home. As the party walk in.
Much appreciated. I do very much appreciate the ornamentation of this hall.
This is a
Chandelier
hunter's lodge. I'm
especially is
sure you
lovely.
let hunting animals in, right?
Yes, your bear companion is more than welcome. However, I must warn you, off to the west of me, the first set of doors directly opposite, that door leads to our lounge, and in the lounge we do have a bear rug. So please be warned about that in advance.
Yeah, she knows about these sorts of things.
Indeed. That bear, actually, that we now use for warmth here at the lodge. It's an interesting case, and to be plain, it is... I know I've invited you here for rest and relaxation, but at the same time, incidences like Grimlock in there, I wish to discuss with you. So, feel free to come in and make yourselves at home.
Sure.
Much appreciated. I look forward to our meetings. I am not one for relaxation, to be honest, but I look forward to the discussions, as we mentioned, and perhaps training with some of your rangers if they have the time.
The rangers at the moment are mostly out on guide quests. Several people have been flocking into the Stolen Lands more recently, especially with tales of your exploits and how they have begun to spread. More people are becoming very keen and interested in Regrowth, so we are doing our best to guide them. But should a few of them return during the course of these few days, then feel free to spar with them as you wish.
And where might we be staying so that we can drop off our belongings?
Ah, your runs, yes. He points to the main stairwell behind him. If you go up these stairs and proceed off to the west, the left of the stairs, then your room is literally the first on the landing on the left.
Whoa.
Yes.
He like mouse over things. He like changes what layer it.
Yep, this is another one of AeonKobold's maps. And
Not working for me.
That's fancy.
And it's quite frankly fantastic. But if you wish to go to your room straight away, feel free to step onto this portion of the stairs and you will be bamped up the stairs. If not, hold on. Oh, bye-bye, Theo.
Oh, yeah, it worked. Oh, cool. I guess I'll see you down there too.
Yes, there's also reflections, so you can still see the folks on the previous level. So, Theon, off to your left, the room that Jamal was talking about is just here.
Alright. Yeah, no, before Theon went up to it, he would have offered to grab like anyone else's packs or anything they'd want brought up.
Sure.
So you probably get hit with Belladonna's bag like halfway through the sentence.
Yeah, he'll catch it and just be like, very well then. And he will head up the drop-off things.
Sure, open that door up and take a look at your room. So, it is a nice sized room actually. It is big enough for the four of you, even a small space for BB. And there is even a screen in the bottom left hand corner for a bit of privacy for Belladonna if she should so wish it. But yes, you can drop all your things off in there. And are you planning on staying in there for a while, Theon? Or are you just gonna, drop the bags off and come straight back down?
He's going to drop the bags off and then he's going to make kind of a quick sweep of the room. Just as kind of his habit is anytime he stays somewhere he hasn't been before. To make sure nothing seems out of the ordinary. And then after that, he'll be heading out.
Sure. You take 5 minutes and everything in this room is above board, kosher and fine. Meanwhile, back down the stairs, Jamal speaks with the other party members. Now, if you wish to know the layout of the lodge, off to my right here to the east there is the dining hall. Behind me, in the northeastern corner, there is one of our 2 pantries. And then at the northwestern point of the house, through the dining hall and the first pantry, we have our kitchen, and we have 2 guests here as well who is preparing all the meals for you this day. Apparently a acquaintance of yours, Warden Bramblebeard, and also someone with a connection to your family, Miss Perditiate. Off to the southwest of me, in the corner door, you will find Mr. Quinn in there. He is currently going through our library and doing some research. Most of the guests, however, are in the lounge. Those doors over there. We have the remainder of the wardens here, and also the council members, and also a few other guests who are traveling through this region and was originally going to participate in a hunt that we do annually here at the Embeth Lodge. However, due to circumstances, we have decided to call off the hunt for this year. To the north of the lounge is our weapons room. You will find Jarl Varn and the Aldori sisters in there currently training and practicing, and Mr. McFain and his eidolon, they're out the back at the stables, shoeing a horse.
I thought I was supposed to be coming for relaxation, not bloody social club. I'm hungry. Come on, baby, let's just go and eat.
Alright, so feel free to go where you wish to go.
Did someone say food?
You
Yeah,
open
sure.
the doors to the dining hall,
Oh, baby.
and there is a absolute beautiful smell of food that is literally permeating throughout this whole room. Jamal walks in and says, "Now, please be patient. The feast is not due until 1. However, if you wish to indulge in some starters, then I will speak to the cooks and see if they are able to oblige." And right on cue, you hear a bang and a crash come from the kitchen as you hear a familiar masculine voice saying, "Ow! God darn it. Sevlana, why do we agree to this?"
So you, Oleg?
What? The door to the kitchen opens, and the form of Oleg Leviton, the owner of Leviton's Outpost, walks through. You're right, Bramblebeard. They told me you were coming, but it's good to see you again.
Been a while. How have you been keeping?
Oh, same as ever. Trying to keep myself to myself, you and your village. Stirring up a bit more fuss. Although I can't lie, it's been good for business, I suppose. But, swings and roundabouts. What about yourselves? I mean, sorry to hear about Boric and Calvin. To be honest, it's the reason why me and the wife are here. As much as I don't like society and all that, you did us a solid. And, well, he gets very somber and serious for a second. I think this is the least we could do. So we offered to the travellers to, our services in, well, catering.
It's a very kind gesture. No, I'm same as always. Trek around the old bloody place, killing ogres and giants and dogs and who knows. It's been a couple of months.
Well, as long as you've got rid of those awful ogres and trolls, then it's all for the best, as Slevlana Leviton appears with a bright smile on her face.
Killed the leader myself. Watch him burn.
You forgot the tall gnomes.
Well, yeah, whatever's going on with him.
Sevlana smiles as she looks at Belladonna. Oh. So, you're the third generation Perditiate, are you?
That's me, and I slam a fist on my breastplate.
It's a pleasure to meet you finally. I am, she goes up to you. I'm Sevlana Leviton. It is a pleasure to meet you. Has your grandmother informed you that we are, although loosely, we are technically family?
Sorry, demanding cat.
A cat walks into the room and jumps off the table onto Belladonna's arms.
Nanabella did say something about a cousin or other.
Yes,
I don't know. I was mostly listening to the part where she shot some guys for trying to break into your little fort thing.
you should come to the trading post sometime. It's quite nice, but yes, Isabella, your grandmother, Anden and Calvin and Boric, they did a great thing for us, and even this sour crap behind me, she kind of playfully elbows Oleg. Even he was appreciative of it, wasn't you, Oleg? Yeah, I know. Yes, I was. But yes, your grandmother is a distant cousin of mine. We're from the same noble strings back in Restov, more or less. By the way, is your grandmother okay? The last time I spoke to her, she mentioned something about... She was acting like she wasn't bothered, but her Sword Lord trials, apparently they found out thanks to Kelman before he passed that they were rigged. Is she doing alright?
She's, Look, Svetlana, you've met Nanabella. If she wasn't doing okay, I would not be the first person to find out.
What's this about rigged trials?
I don't think she would tell anyone until you pried it out of her by force.
Oh, she notices Theon. Your markings. Are you an Aldori Sword Lord by any chance?
I am. Theon Aldori at your service.
Sevlana Leviton. In that case, Lord Aldori. Warden Aldori. How should I address you?
You can just call me Theo. We are friends here after all.
Very well then, Theo. I would like to make a request, and I also would like to make it to Warden Perditiate here too. If you could keep an eye on Isabella. She is a very capable woman, my distant cousin, but I don't know. From what Kelvin told me before he passed, She originally tried to be an Aldori sword lord herself when she was young. She trained with Jamande Aldori. Isabella and Jamande are actually of the same age. But Isabella was injured, and apparently this injury took her out of the dueling academy. But it turns out from Kelvin that he found out that they were actually going to pass her through honours, valor, and all that. And it turns out a very significant hand, a powerful hand, essentially rigged the result, and Belladonna was still expelled, which led to her, not just her expulsion, but also disownment from her family. I know I shouldn't say this out in active public, but you are the Wardens of Regrowth, and I've been told she's your boss. I'm just concerned that a force that powerful, despite how many years ago it may be, a force that powerful who was willing to discredit her. Then she switches back to Belladonna here for a second. I know the blood ties and the old families are Restov. Please be aware that if someone is willing to go that far in order to essentially mess over your grandmother, switches back to Theo, they may not let this go, no matter how many decades have passed. Would you keep an eye on her?
We will. Any
We'll keep
idea
an eye on
who
her.
handled this rigging? I find it deeply concerning.
You know, hearing the story laid out like that is a first for me. I mean, we got bits and pieces from Mom, but the way Nana tells it, she threw old great-granddad the middle finger and rode out on his horse.
There's no chance Theo would have actually been training around the same time, would he?
I don't know. How old is Theon and would he have done? That is your choice.
Well, he's a few hundred years old, but he was training around the same time as Magar, because they knew each other during training. So I don't know where he falls compared to the Lady Aldori.
Magar was trained later.
Okay, then that would have been later as well.
Yeah, Magar's in his 40s. If he would have got trained in his maybe teens, 18, it doesn't specifically say, but I'm gonna say 18 years of age. It would have been about 30 odd years back, give or take.
Gotcha.
But
I would have been trained around the same time as him, so it would have been after the fact.
But I'll tell you what, I will say though, if you focus in on it, it'll be a hard DC, but you can either make a perception check or a society check to see if you heard anything back in the day.
Let's see. You said a society? I can go for it.
Yeah, perception or society. Society will give you more though if you hit it.
We'll try the perception just because. You want it public?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Didn't want to interrupt.
No,
but
that doesn't happen with the 12.
Yes, Dave?
I didn't want to interrupt at the time. I ended up interrupting this. My mistake. The idea of Isabella being our boss, the loudest dwarven chuckle / derisive snort is howled that almost echoes around the room.
Well, nothing on society, but if you want, you can make perception as well. You're not locked out from it.
I think I'll leave it there. I feel like Theo was very much invested in his studies, shall we say?
Yeah.
Like a big old nerd. So I don't think he would have been listening to the grapevine very much.
Well, so Sevlana says, looking at Anden, smiling as they are cackling his head off. Well, regardless of how you consider Isabella, she did do that with your great-grandfather, but from what I understand and what she told me in private, there was a bit more to it. Apparently, the Sword Lord thing was her chance to stay in the family back in the day. I think someone wanted her out. Please, just keep an eye on her. Not that she can't take care of herself. If someone with this massive an ego did that to her, or what they might do to the descendants, maybe you need to watch your own hides.
Appreciate the heads up.
Right. Oleg, let's get back to work. Yeah, I'm going. And Oleg, we'll get something on for you and we'll get something nice. And he smiles and he heads back into the kitchen. Yes, we'll get back to work. And then if you wish to say hi to Claptrap, we brought him as well. He's out back. So Irene's just trying to change his horseshoes. He volunteered, but Irene's not very good with shoeing. So if you get a moment, if you can give him a hand, or if anybody who knows a bit of smithing or crafting can give him a hand, be appreciated. And she smiles. But when the food comes around, I hope you enjoy. And she smiles and shuts the door to the kitchen. Tharsus, while this was all happening, you were on the other side of the main entry hall. What were you doing in particular?
I think as he sees everyone just goes towards the dining hall, it's like, I guess I'm letting everyone know we're here. Cool.
The social one.
Yes.
Okay, so you open the door into the lounge and you see Isabella playing billiards with a human male who you actually know of. This human male is associated with a female human bard who is currently playing her lute on the couch. Meanwhile, to the north of you, you see two kobolds sitting at a two-seater table playing cards with one another, and from the door that leads off to the north out of this room, you hear the clashing of swords. As Isabella looks up, "Oh, Tharsus, there you are. Glad you could make it. How was the trip?"
It's alright. I walked a bit, and then I walked some more.
Excellent exercise, did we?
Yep. Brilliant. Countryside. Wonderful. Yes.
Tharsus, your eyes then turn and lock with the bard in front of you. You know her, and she knows you.
Oh no, she's pretty.
Her eyebrow raises as she sees you walk into the room, but she doesn't react. This is Anemid Bellavara. She is a bard, but what you know her from, Tharsus, is the fact that she is a known spy for Pitax. But spy is very loose a term. Do you have society, Tharsus?
I do.
Give us a society roll then, please. Open.
Secret?
Open. You know, open, because no false information to give here.
I know nothing. That's a natural one for 30.
So there's no critical failure state here, you just don't know more than the base information. Anemid is a spy, but more realistically, she is a scout for Pitax. What I mean by that is, she could do more. For example, undermine rival governments and stuff like that. If wasn't the fact that she really can't be asked to. She is accompanied as ever by her bodyguard, her right hand, her lover, her friend, perhaps her only friend. He is essentially whatever Anemid needs him to be. A human man who has been by her side for the past 10 years. Human man by the name of Augustus Melrose. He is human, skinny physique, but slender, dexterous, definitely in shape. He favours the crossbow as his weapon. He also has a nice falchion. He is well dressed, but at the same time, he is practical. He can look regal one moment, and then he can get down and dirty into the thick of it the next. Your relationship with Anemid, yours and Theon's actually, is a case of you've met each other over the years. Never had much interaction, but in a weird way, Anemid and Augustus are kind of like Pitax's version of heavy metal. Maybe not so much on the power and intimidation front, but they also do jobs, not strictly illegal, but jobs that are a bit covert. Back over to you.
I just kind of look at Isabel went, well, that's been sorted. Introductions are done with. You know we're here. I think my job's done. We'll wander over to here. So, business or not business?
Ganymede smiles. Bit of both, really. Me and Augustus came here for the hunt. That's been called off. Then we were going to move on to Regrowth and do a scouting report for the king. But, well, no offence, but all the troll business and everything recently, I don't really fancy going.
I wouldn't worry about it. Do let your king know his favourite pet gnome is dead.
You finally got him, did you?
Oh, you know how it is. I get sent places.
I know.
And then I clean up places.
Tartuccio was a useful asset, but to be honest with you, delusions of grandeur overcame his mind. The reason why that Iravetti betrayed even him at the call for heroes, ordering the Black Tears to even kill him, was due to the fact that, well, to be plain, ideas above his station. He one day hoped to be Iravetti's replacement and, well, from what you've learned of his Royal Majesty, Royal Numerian Majesty, he won't want that.
That he won't.
And don't worry, myself and Augustus here, and Augustus gives you a curt nod of hello, and he just says, "Been a while, Tharsus. Life treating you good?"
You know how it is. Same old, same old. Go here, do that, then go there and do that.
Yes, we know that one very well. Theon with you?
Yeah, he's in the dining hall. They left me behind to say hello.
Well, it'd be nice to say hello to him too. Don't worry, no business here today, so no quarrel against you. Theon or your new companions.
There.
And also, to get it out the way, says Ganymede, Warden Perditiate over there knows exactly who we are. We introduced ourselves, and to be honest with you, we know that she has hired adventurers and spies and has sent over Pitax's way herself, so it's just business.
Ever anything personal? Just business?
Indeed. In fact, those two kobolds over there, they were also coming to your Regrowth on business.
I kind of look over and go, any interest in business? Or sneaky business?
The red scale kobold, who's wearing a yellow hood, it's currently down at the moment. He turns his head and addresses with you, and he says, "Oh no. No business here. Me and my brother here, we are literally just traveling adventurers looking for jobs. You regrowthers are hiring adventurers all the time from what we've been told." Mark here for a second, because it was a kingdom mode ability, hire adventurers. So we go back to Kobold and says, yeah, we just came this way looking for work. We're wandering traveling adventurers by trade. My name is Gunwitch, Karik Gunwitch. Over here is my brother. His name is Prazil Gunwitch. However, he doesn't talk much, and Prazil actually motions up to his throat, and you see a very nasty slash across it. As Karik says, so he doesn't talk much, unfortunately, but we're two experienced adventurers. We're originally from, don't know if you heard of it. It's quite a ways from here. We're originally from Alkenstar, and, well, we're just traveling the world, adventurers by trade, looking for work. You know how it goes.
Aye, I know how it goes.
Any work? Oh, go on, Dave, sorry.
Such a cool name. Gunwitch. That's like the best anime name ever.
So Karik says, I mean, me and my brother, we're heading out today, actually. We were just going to grab some lunch and go. Do you know of any work?
Not gonna lie, don't keep track. But if you go down a Regrowth, they've always got something going on.
Brazil nods in appreciation as Karik smiles. Sounds good. We must admit we're getting a bit low on coin, so some work will be good, so we'll look around then. We heard you had some trouble with trolls recently, but that's over now?
Oh yeah, the trolls are dead. Troll King's dead.
Excellent. We missed that, we missed that fight, but usually there's a lot of cleanup afterwards, so cleanup often gives opportunity for coin. So, sounds good. May I have your name, sir?
Oh yeah, you can call me Tharsus Grimbreaker.
Isabella looks up. I've already spoken to the Gunwitch siblings. If you go to Silverven Hall and speak to Kestengares, the guard there, he's the head of the guard, I'm sure he can rustle up some work for you. We are still hiring adventurers at the moment to clean up, well, as you said, clean up, so there is opportunity there if you wish for it. And Karik just nods. It's appreciated. Came here originally for the hunt too. Kind of a shame it's been called off, but yeah, that's the way it goes. Alright. What does everyone want to do? What's everyone looking to do?
I'd love for someone to tell me about this hunt that's been called off.
Sure, if you got up to Jamal, he can speak to you about it.
I don't know about it yet, which is kind of the problem.
Yeah, no. Let's say then that Jamal, he approaches the both of you at the table, Sevlana and Oleg, sort you out a small starter, and he goes, how's the food?
Not bad, not bad.
Just not bad.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I often travel through Oleg's trading post on the way back down through the Greenbelt to here, and, well, he does good food. Not gonna lie about that. Yes, I don't want to talk too much about business right now, but I wanted to let you know, in particular, Warden Bramblebeard, that we've called off the annual hunt for this year. And Anden, you've heard of the annual hunt, even in your isolation and moping time. Basically, once a year, the Embeth Travelers hold a pseudo competition, but it's not a competition of game. It is a competition of a task which is necessary that they turned into a competition. The annual hunt is basically where teams go out into this region of the Stolen Lands and basically hunt down the legitimate, dangerous beasties who disrupt nature's balance. I'm talking things like hydras, I'm talking things like chimeras. So, not animals. Essentially, if you're a Monster Hunter fan out there, the Embeth Travelers annual hunt is basically Monster Hunter.
Hey, wait a second. Why are you calling it off in the first place?
To be honest with you, Regrowth has a hand in it. Not a bad hand, mind you, but as more and more people flock to your settlement, the more the Embeth hunters are taken with guide duty. Of course, we usually bring in teams from the outside, and we make a little competition out of it. But because of everything that's happened, and with the recent troll attacks, no one is exactly traveling right now.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it on the way here, actually. The influence doesn't seem to be as your normal beasts, your aberrations, your whatever, with many heads and snapping mouths. It's fey stuff going on. That's why everybody feels so on edge. We're so, close in that realm way. Probably what's got a lot of things acting up. We're actually, looking into stuff as much as we can. And I take out the green thing and I just like idly start like spinning it around on the table, just like doing a thinking face. And BB is like noticed that I'm distracted and is just taking all the food that I put on my plate.
Jamal just looks at the locks of hair and says, "There does seem to be something going on. The Stolen Lands are always a strange region, but this year, I was even speaking to Yalvan about it, and the Aldori sisters, even over in their home settlement of Varnhold, it's been, I don't know, more stranger than usual."
It's an interesting problem because in one sense, I understand the need to call off the hunt as things are more dangerous than ever and we don't want people getting hurt. On the other hand, calling off the hunt just means things are going to have more of a chance to fester.
I know.
They, don't suppose there's any
problem.
particular big heads that could use a looking to from some... Look at the party. Fine young wardens?
Well, that's kind of the thing, says Jamal in response. It's not just a case we can't gather the teams together, or even pull enough of the Embeth hunters in to do the hunt this year. It's not just that. Because of what's going on, not even the local beasties are rearing their ugly heads, to put it in a simplified term. The usual hydras, chimeras, wyverns, all the dangerous things that we hunt have not been showing up. They're not following their cycle is what I'm trying to say. Something is even disrupting the creatures of the region. Both fair creatures, neutral creatures, and creatures of ill repute.
Have you checked the dragon thing? The wyvern thing?
Can I check on my second apparition, the Stalker in Darkened Boughs?
What's this apparition all about?
They make their homes in ancient forests and jungles unfriendly to humanoids and others. They're drawn to... they're moody, impulsive beasts, basically, from the darkest recesses of not civilization. So pretty much exactly what Jamel and his people have to protect civilization from.
Sure, give us that. Is there a lore roll with that?
It has hunting or forest lore.
I'm going to say roll me a secret. Actually, you could do both. Roll me one of each. Both secret, though.
Oh, okay. I don't remember which one I just rolled.
That's cool. That one was forest lore.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. On the hunting side of things, you speak to your apparition, and it says to you, it is different now. The forest is different, that you and your companions already know. It is because of that. The hunt has not begun, neither for these hunters or for the creatures they hunt.
I think the balance has long since changed.
You get the impression of your apparition that it's a sudden change as well. To put it in a simplified term, it hasn't been not even a gradual change at a fast pace. It has literally been like a switch flip.
Yeah, I relay this to the party, but like in more humanoid terms rather than, the words of the hunting beast.
Well,
It's
whatever.
all right. I'm old enough and ugly enough not to take this personally. Not doing my job properly again.
But I don't think it's about that, Warden Bramblebeard.
Yeah, Anden, I was gonna say, I don't think this is so much to do with maintaining the balance as, it seems almost like the balance was already wrong and we've set it to a different place now. Like if you moved the middle of a seesaw somehow.
It's all right. I was joking. It's an interesting perspective, though. them ghosts of yours are, well, whatever that one is, seems to be a little more forthcoming than the other one.
He's simpler for sure.
Sorry if that's rude, but I mean, I don't know their names and that.
He doesn't have a name per se.
Is it really a he?
No, that's just
it's one of those creatures. I just looked it up, and yeah, it's one of those apparitions that is classified as a thing with a capital T.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Jamal will speak up and say, well, let's not worry about this today. Obviously, this is a conversation that needs to be had, but not now. Enjoy your starters. Let's rest and relax. Let's enjoy the day. Let's spend a couple of days of just relaxation, and then we will have a proper conversation about all of this. So honestly, put your feet up, relaxed. Theon, I know you said you're here to train on more strategy meetings, but there are plenty of opportunities here and in the wilds around this region to hone your skills. So do whatever it is that will find you pleasure.
Where did you say they were sparring at?
They are sparring at the room behind the lounge.
I think I may make my way that way then.
All right. Because I would like to move the game on for today. So let's quickly do this, and then let's move on, because there'll be other opportunities over the next couple of days to do more RP and downtime lore stuff like this. So Jack, if you just want to head over into the lounge, you see Tharsus sitting down, and you actually notice yourself for the first time that Adamede and Augustus are here.
Well, look who it is.
And there he is. We were told you were here. Good to see you again, Theon.
I suppose. A bit far from Pitax, aren't we?
Scouting the new local kingdoms, reporting information back. Nothing more. And Augustus speaks up. Like she could be bothered to do more anyway. Augustus! Well, it's true. But he just looks at you with a half smile. How you doing, Theon?
Ah, the same as always. Getting the job done.
Well, if you wish to see your fellow sword lords, they're training in that room to the north. We can catch up later if you want.
Works for me. And I'll give a nod to Tharsus to kind of just eye him to make sure everything's good, and then, assuming he's good, head north.
I just nod him and just go, don't make it awkward, mate. We're here for days.
Alright, so feel free to open that door, and you walk in to the armory room where you see Magar Von training with two sisters who are also sword lords. The first sister on the left is Adina Aldori. She is human, born and descended from an Iovaran family, and she and her sister, who is off to the right of her, this is Jolia Aldori. As mentioned before, they are distant cousins to Jamande herself, so they're not just family in arms, but they are also blood related. As the two of them, Jolia speaks first and says, there he is, the masked wonder himself. How you doing, Theo?
Same as usual. Here to spar and stretch a bit. The road has me stiff.
Adina looks at you with a half-cake smile. Don't you ever relax?
I relaxed once. It was awful.
Magar.
And it probably takes the room up way too long to realize that was his attempt at a joke.
Yeah, Magar just walks up and he's just got a smile on his face today, and he just says, you're actually trying humor these days?
Well, How do you know I haven't been trying for years? I just haven't been very good at it.
Oh, get over yourself just for a few days. We're here to relax. What happened to that elf I used to know back at the academy before you put that mask on?
A lot has happened since then.
Oh, it
To be
has.
fair, even that elf found exercise to be the best way to let off some steam.
Magar smiles. Well, I know what you're getting at. Sisters, clear the floor.
Where are the practice swords?
I thought we were capable enough these days not to use them.
I'm fine with that. I just wanted to offer in case you were worried about marring up that face of yours.
At least I don't have to hide mind.
Touché.
Alright, so here's how we're going to do it as Magar and Theon are going to have a duel. The Aldori sisters are kind of rolling their eyes at the two of you. You get the impression that they know what this is about. So here's what we're going to do, Jack. Let's let the dice tell the story. We won't roll out an entire combat encounter or do a mini game. Let's do some just old school opposed dice. One roll, one Aldori short sword attack roll. Whoever wins gets the better of this whole confrontation, this whole training session. You down for that?
Why don't we call it a 2 out of 3?
I'm a big fan of one and done. Because,
One and done it is.
because is the reason why. 2 out of 3 does make sense. But I like for stories sometimes where it's just one decisive hit, one decisive blow. It saves time, and also I like it where the dice truly tell the story, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, works for me. And I'll note, in this fight as well, Theon is dueling very, cleanly and professionally. There's no, malice at Magar or anything. It's a very just straight practice duel.
No, it's the same. It's the same. Just be aware Magar's leveled up since surviving Regrowth's attack. So,
You're welcome, I'll play them.
So, here we go. In that case, then, let's roll an Aldori. Basically, the rules of the duel is going to be simply first one to get knocked on their butt.
Yep.
So, let's see. You ready with that attack roll?
Yeah, you just want a straight attack roll, right?
3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh.
So, what'd you roll?
Oh, Magar did level up. I rolled a 29 versus his 39.
So you duel both back and forth for about 5 minutes, and in the end it's actually Magar Von who knocks you on your backside. Good fight.
Agreed, you've been practicing.
He sheaves his sword, and he actually offers you a hand up.
Yeah, and he'll take it.
I was sent to Varnhold to set up a school, me and the sisters here. I haven't been so much hitting the books these days. And just between you and me, I wonder if it's going to be enough of all the weirdness that's going on. I mean, I have the sisters, we have the school, and our force in Varnhold is good enough. But I have never seen anything like this still, and I am getting concerned.
As am I. But we've been through a lot.
Listen, I'm gonna ask this bluntly, and he actually shuts the door. The sisters, go on, just ask him. Let's get this out of the way once and for all. What's your problem with me dating Jamandi?
I have no problem with you dating Dramandi.
He rolls his eyes. Okay, I'll change that to why didn't you go to her first then?
You know, I disappeared for a while and returned with this, and he motions towards the mask. Life comes at you fast sometimes, and you sometimes miss a few things.
He nods.
Why didn't you ask me to help you teach new students?
Because Jamandi sent you away on assignment. To be honest with you, when she told me her plan for the Call of Heroes and establishing a team to track down Tartuccio and find out whether or not he was truly a spy, I was legit shocked to hear that you and Tharsus weren't there for that. If it was me, you would have been there. But for some strange reason, she wanted to keep you and Tharsus over in Pitax. So, I'm going to be plain here. And Jolia speaks up. You're going to have to talk to our cousin on that one, Theon. Not sticking up for him, he's old enough to look after himself, but that was honestly her call. We know about the plans that Jamandi has. We're family after all, both in blood and in sword. But it's strange. She wanted to keep you and Tharsus in Pitax for some particular reason. And Adina says at the back, nothing to do with protection either. I get the feeling that whatever she had in mind, she thought you and Tharsus were the best shot at it.
Perhaps we were.
Well, if you want some answers on that, maybe you should speak to her again about that. I know she has to play coy, but if you manage to get back to Restorf or send a message to her sometime, she will answer it. I promise you that.
Nah, it's in the past now. I follow orders as always. As you say, she has plans. At the end of the day, I trust her.
It's just, I still find it I still find it odd that you two were not called for the Calls of Heroes. Like I said, I got lumbered with this side of things because I was good at the paperwork. You were sent out on assignments by her because, okay, I may have gotten the better of you today, but pound for pound, you're the better fighter out there in active combat. And Jalea speaks up once again. What he's trying to say is, he doesn't know why the physical sword lord, such as yourself, Theon, wasn't called for the physical work, and why the brainy sword lord here, pointing to Magar, why he was given the assignment that he was. Okay, Magar wanted to make his own name like Isabella Perditiate because he's also a third-born son in his family. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So, we sword lords, I think we better stick together in what's coming because this whole thing, Adina picks up, this whole thing bloody stinks. Jalea speaks up once more. I don't think Mandy's doing anything wrong, or I don't think she's got anything nefarious in mind. You know, game of poker, you can play your cards close to your chest, but sooner or later you gotta reveal the cards. You can't just, when the spread gets laid out, you can't just keep on checking every single time.
Right. Have you heard of this whole situation with Isabella?
Magar crosses his arms once again and thinks thoughtfully on that. I have been considering that. Jamandi has... Okay. Long story short, Isabella and Jamandi were bunk buddies years ago, during their training days. That means Jamandi knows her very... Sorry, Lexi?
I said, oh my god, they were roommates. I'm sorry.
Surprise, but I hope you don't mind.
Don't mind at all.
So he just turns around and he just says, they were bunk buddies back in the day. So they were professionally and personally close. The thing is, Jamandi was always spoken about Isabella in terms of giving her a glowing review. She wasn't the best with a sword, but she more than made up for it with her ingenuity and her adaptability. And, well, you've seen it yourself, quite frankly, her sheer grit. It's strange. Even Jamandi was perplexed that she was not put through on valor alone. She's got more, you've seen it yourself, she's got more than enough valor to be a sword lord.
you not find it deeply concerning that someone very high up was able to rig her trials? There aren't a lot of sword lords and people who can do that.
I don't think it was the trials that were actually rigged, because Mandy was there. She saw all of it. She saw the injury. It was a training exercise that she was on. I think it's more the backroom politics. So whoever this was that targeted her, they did it behind the scenes. We sword lords, I'm ashamed to say, there are a few of our order are not afraid to fall into corruption.
True enough.
The other thing that Jamandi said of it, well, it was just a personal theory that she had. But according to Jamandi, although she's got no evidence, that someone in her family was the one who did the backstage politics. Ever since Calvin Leoburn brought the information forward about several months ago now, Isabella found out, and then Calvin's organization that he worked for, the firm VC and Associate, they forwarded it on to Jamande Aldori as well. Someone wanted Warden Perditiate to fail. And now that she now has a new position of privilege and a title, if that person is still around, I think you know where I'm going with this.
Indeed.
But regardless, she is old enough and she's clever enough to look after herself, her and her family. So I'm not too concerned. It's just, well...
I'm more concerned about our order.
Oh, come on, says Adina. It was probably an isolated incident. We're generally a good bunch. And this was over 50 years ago. But you are right, but I don't think we should... Let's put it this way. We four sword lords in this room, I think we should worry about our own asses first before we consider the order.
I will note that whenever you say it was over 50 years ago, that's thinking like a human. I was alive over 50 years ago.
Magar puts up his finger to make a point motion in acknowledgement. Exactly. So if something does come around, you're dealing with somebody who lives long.
I know I'm not in the scene, but I have to point out, Isabella is also still alive.
Yeah, but that's what his point was. They're saying, oh, this was 50 years ago. Probably whoever was pulling strings is like, gone, or, probably someone older, but it's like, yeah, but elves live hundreds of years if it's like an elf or something.
Yeah, that's what Magar was basically agreeing with. He was saying, exactly, Isabella is still around, but if they were human who did this, then if it was someone older, they were more likely to have passed by now, or if there was someone of the same age, they would be just as old as Isabella, and that would be a long time to hold a grudge even by human standards. So that's what Magar's kind of notioning with Theo, that, yeah, you're probably, if somebody comes for the family, it is probably someone who is long-lived.
Well then, seems like we're more or less in agreement on things then.
Aye. And also, I've considered what you said about the other day, about leaving the Jarl's ship in somebody else's hands. I've spoken with the council, and they've agreed that they still wish for me to be Jarl. However, when I split my time between Regrowth and Varnhold, what we're going to do is we're going to assign a steward in my stead. It seems like the community as well have wished for me to stay around. Basically, Jellia walks up. Basically, he's made a bloody good impression with the people at Regrowth, and he gives them a feeling of security. However, Jellia, you were right, Theon. So we're going to assign a steward who will act in my stead and will have the same responsibilities as me when I head back to Varnhold.
A reasonable idea.
Okay, then good to see we're in accordance. Alright, that's enough training for now, so let's just enjoy this day, shall we? Well, enjoy it the best we can. How's that?
Works for me.
Okay. The day is going to progress on. It is going to be, quite frankly, a nice, chill day. You discover irony at the back. He's trying to re-horseshoe Claptrap, who is being rather annoying about it, to be quite honest with you. The Gunwitch siblings, they are going to head out as they head to Regrowth to speak with Keston Giris and potentially get some work. Ganymede and Augustus, they're going to be there, and yeah, originally they're going to reveal to you that they were a part of the hunt. They were going to take place of the hunt this year, which seems a bit weird with Ganymede, her getting her hands dirty. But now that that's changed, they were just going to head to Regrowth for a scouting report and then just move on. Felix comes out of the library and he motions that they have a nice selection about the local area. For example, the deserted watchtower that's about 10 miles off to the west of here, and also that massive cavern in the ground. Apparently there's some books on that subject matter here too. But you're still going to have opportunities and days which you can find out about that information if you so wish. As the day rolls on, nice calm day, and then you put your heads down to sleep at night. Can everyone make me a will saving throw, please?
Ruh-roh.
So we got a 20 from...
Never mind, that's my best save. I'm not worried anymore.
So we got a 20 from Theo. 18 from Tharsus.
One moment. Is this...
Just roll a regular will save for now, please.
Okay, well, just warning you, I have a +1 against haunts and the abilities of spirits and incorporeal undead.
I know you do. Don't worry.
Okay.
I've got you covered. I've got you in mind.
I know you do, but what am I?
I know you do, by the way. Okay. So, Anden and Belladonna roll a 28. Tharsus on a 18. Theon on a 20. This will saving throw was akin to the perception check way back in chapter 1 to see who was going to wake up at Lady Jamande's house, manor house, when it got under attack.
Black Tears, right?
The Black Tears, yes. This is a similar sort of who's going to get up first. Anden and Belladonna, you shoot up in your beds in the middle of the night as you hear from the outside a terrible whinnying from Claptrap out in the stables. You then take a second to perceive your surroundings. You wake up in the middle of the night in your rooms. Anden and Bella, the first to wake up. You notice this haze that you are seeing all around you. Claptrap, it whinnied loudly on the outside, but has now gone quiet and silent. At the moment, Tharsus and Theon are still asleep. What would the two of you like to do?
We need to wake up my friends, and also, I don't want any of this miasma around me. So I'm just gonna head into the middle of the room and shout a gust of wind. Oh no, gale blast.
I'm gonna head to the window to see if I can see the stables.
You head to the window to see the stables, and even though Claptrap's token is not on this map in particular, you see Claptrap there asleep. Anden, your gust of wind doesn't do jack to this miasma. All it does do is wake up Theon and Tharsus by a large gust of wind.
Gotta double check, are our bodies still in bed?
You're still you.
Okay.
Theo pops out of bed, grabs his sword, and jumps into a fighting stance.
I think Tharsus is literally lying in bed and just swings out his poleaxe.
In bed with you.
Yep.
Well, if Isabella could sleep with a rifle, you can sleep with a gizarm.
It was also her crutch in her defense.
I know, but hey, if I allowed one, then I'm allowing the other.
No, absolutely.
Tharsus is crutch just for his personality.
I was going to say, I would actually believe Tharsus would sleep with his weapon.
Oh, yeah?
But here's the question. Does Tharsus sleep with his helmet on?
No.
So what do we actually see? Helmet off Tharsus?
No. So, it's in the bed, but it's like next to its closest to like the side of the bed that... So imagine like the side where the door is, right? And you're walking up to the bed. The first thing you'll see is a helmet, and you would think that's Tharsus, so you'd potentially just lays a trap.
Nice.
You have fallen into my helmet trap. Oh, awesome.
Place in our careers.
Anden, something's up. The horse is still asleep.
Yeah. I mean, evidently.
I would
Guess
like
what?
to.
So was I.
I'm just already starting to like put my armor on and stuff.
Theo would like to put his ear up to the door and listen out into the hall and see if he can hear any kind of sounds coming from within the lodge.
Sure, in that case, then let's get some exploration actions in. So
I assume Tharsus wears heavy armor.
Yes.
Yes.
Can someone help me?
Yeah, I'll help you put it on.
okay, what's the speed with armor assist?
It knocks it down by 5 minutes, doesn't it?
All right. So in that case, then let's get some exploration actions in. I'm going to say you're on a search here this time. Theon.
Alrighty.
Oh, I forgot to put BB. Because BB was staying in the manor, right? Or would she sleep outside?
She might sleep outside to make everybody else feel a bit more comfortable, but I was just going to say that my action was just a whistle really loud. Actually, I think part of Druidic is whistling out of humanoid creatures hearing range.
Nice. So BB is not with you now, but you're going to whistle for her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you make your whistle and BB will show up when she shows up. We're going to say...
Then I'll search.
Yeah, we're going to say you take 10 minutes. And, yeah, just let me set the clock. So you take about 10 minutes getting ready. Exploration actions for the rest of the party, please. BB has not shown up yet.
Okay. I'm gonna... I mean, if I cast Detect Magic, the answer is going to be yes.
Will
Actually,
it?
Anden doesn't have to detect. I'm just going to be searching. I'm going to be looking for weird creatures in the corner of the rooms.
Sure.
Shadows that are moving.
Belladonna. Sure. Belladonna or Tharsus, what would you like to do?
I'd like to scout.
Alright, so let's put Scout on as Tharsus does the scouting. And what about Belladonna?
I will be on search.
Okay, so secret perception checks off all the searchers then, please. Okay, Theon's has just come in. Just waiting for Belladonna's. Fantastic. Big dice roll. That is also in. Alright, feel free to position yourselves and get ready. Yeah. Theon? Everything seems quiet at the door.
I would check on the others.
Sorry, what's there's a little extra semicircle of darkness over here, and I'm just a little confused as to what it is. Because it looks like the wall sticks out as well. Is it supposed to be a window?
It is... Okay. It is one of the lamps for this room, one of the light points for this room, but because of the miasma effect that I've created, it's made these dark marks.
Right, now I see. Okay.
And
I kind of like it. It looks spooky.
And I will actually say they're canonically there as well. It's like the lamps have turned to this pure darkness, but yet still emanating this weird light.
Tharsus, from what I was inferring from Mark, do you also have Defy the Darkness?
I do have Defy the Darkness.
Okay. So we're both thinking kind of the same thing, and we look at each other, I assume.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think Tharsus just goes, not again, and kind of just tightens his grip. on his gizarm.
Oh, okay.
As I was saying, should we check on the others?
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
Theo's gonna make sure everyone's in position, and he's gonna open the door.
Tharsus, you want to mosey up ahead a little bit in front of the rest of us squishy spellcasters, maybe?
You don't
What
know.
if-
Oh, you
what
can
if
stay
there's a
over the
window?
back. I can stab over the back. You'll be fine.
You can, I'd rather you. You're not really as tall as I am, Tharsus.
Yeah, but you got legs, don't you? I can trip him, then stab him.
My legs? Please
Yeah.
don't.
No, it's like I'll hook him between your legs. I won't expect that, and then I'll stab him. Because I don't expect that either.
You know what? I'm kind of sold.
Sold.
Meanwhile, oh wait, shit. How long does this? Ah, bugger! I swore. Sorry.
You're all right. Don't worry.
How long does this last again? Only 5 minutes. Never mind. Stay within touch range, Tharsus.
Okay.
Yep.
Theon, feel free to open the door. You open out into the corridor where the miasma is still there. You do know that all your fellow guests here are staying in the room off to the south, and then there's 2 more rooms off to the northwestern corner. As far as you're aware, nobody's up in the attic, which this ladder over here down in the southeast leads to. Everything seems
Sorry.
clear. Feel free to move around.
He's going to move to the southern door, and he's going to knock on the door pretty loud and, forcefully, kind of trying to.
Yeah, well, let's have everyone in
yeah.
position. Well, let's have everyone in position first. Anden, are you honestly staying there, way back in the darkened lamp of the room?
No, sorry. I'm trying to get to my mouse. My cat's sitting on it.
Damn it, cat.
The cats are invading the recording today.
Look, as a dwarf, Anden gets to enjoy the anti-light from time to time.
Yeah.
Theo.
I think.
Yeah, go on, Anden.
Yeah, I haven't done this since the last time that this happened, but I reckon Anden is going to use Untamed Shift.
Before you do, and before Theon bangs on the door, just literally as you're about to perform these motions, I would like all of the wardens to please roll me a flat check.
Oh. That's a D20, correct?
Yeah, just a straight D20.
That's a DC 10, not a DC 15.
All right. As you almost bang on the door, behind you, in the space, open space of the balcony that leads down to downstairs, a massive portal comes into existence. Tharsus and Anden, can you both make me a will saving throw, please? As nobody beat the stealth DC, as you catch a glimpse into this portal and you see terrifying sights and imagery in front of you. Okay. So, here we go. In the portal, you see in this mysterious imagery a shape appear. You can't make out its details. Almost like a blackened figure in the portal. It is leering out to both of you. I need to roll some dice. Let's see. So it's that amount, add that amount, and then that amount.
No. Oh my god.
No.
That's a lot of amounts. I'm hoping that's basic damage. That's a basic save, sorry.
Tharsus, you take 49 points of mental damage from your failure.
A 29.
Anden, you critically fail and take double that.
I'm down.
That's not the basic save I was hoping it would be.
Oh my.
You see a phantasmal calamity of epic proportions. Normally, creatures on a critical failure can also attempt a reflex save, but you cannot. As soon as Anden is reduced to 0 hit points, he is picked up and is thrown into the portal as the hand figure reaches out, grabs him, and powerlessly they are taken into the portal in which Anden disappears. I inadvertently set Anden onto the next floor accidentally. Anden's supposed to just completely disappear.
I jump through the portal after them without hesitating.
Oh, no you don't.
Ah, damn it.
Oh, no you don't. So hold on. I've got to do... Hold on a second. I've got to do reset here. Excuse me. You can't jump into the portal just yet because that was this thing's reaction. Could the party remaining now roll initiative, please?
Plus 32 on that stealth roll.
But I would beat 32.
So, Tharsus, what do you roll for initiative?
A natural 20 for 35.
Belladonna.
24.
And Theo.
27.
Okay, it is the turn of the Nightmare Portal first.
Oh no.
It just reaches out to all of you and attempts to grab you as well. I need everyone to make a will saving throw, please. There's a pop-up in the chat for you. Spends all 3 actions to do this. Alright, roll those dice up.
I'm not rolling good today.
Never mind.
Theon.
25.
Critical fail. Belladonna.
27.
Critical fail. Tharsus.
13.
Okay. So here we go once again.
What damage type was it, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Mental.
Eh.
And that was Phantasmal Calamity. Okay. Let's see.
Oh.
You all take double of 78 points worth of damage.
I'm going to say we're probably all down.
I think we're all dead.
Now I need you to make fortitude saving throws because this thing has the death tag as you've been hit with an 8th rank phantasmal killer.
Oh.
Let's see. Failure from Theo. You die as the image of your death crushes you. Same from Tharsus. Belladonna?
What did you say it was? Fort save.
Fort save.
Yeah, I'm dead.
And that's a critical failure from Belladonna, as literally this portal shows you your worst nightmares. As the nightmares come to reality and takes your lives one by one by one. You are killed by your own nightmares, your own imaginations, and as you do, the figure in the portal grabs each and every single one of your bodies, and into it goes. And then you hear the sounds of a horse whinnying as you all wake up simultaneously at the same time in your beds the next morning.
Oh, there he is.
BB bursts into the room and runs over to you, Anden, looking at you like, what's the matter?
I like pat myself and I just look around confusedly.
What was that? Anybody else see horrific images that came to life and crushed me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that was.
Yeah, you're all returned to full hit points, by the way.
You know when we said the hags weren't doing their thing anymore? Are we sure?
I'd have to be incredibly powerful hag. Wait, how did BB hear me?
Can all the members of the Wardens please now roll me another flat check d20?
Oh my...
Oh, really? Oh, my luck today.
Okay, Tharsus, what'd you roll?
1.
Belladonna?
17.
And Anden?
7.
Okay. And finally, Theo?
10.
Alright. Back over to you lot.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there something about a nightmare cult dealing
Yeah,
with your
that's
village?
what I was referencing.
Right.
Yeah. They thought they'd gone. Damn, that was a bad one, though.
Did we... You know, did any of us insult their goddess recently? Just gonna throw it out there.
Not any more than normal.
I have a concern.
Her ladyship's punishments tend to be a little more... Never mind.
Yeah, that's something we should probably address down the road for you. In the meantime, I'm concerned that I'm not an expert on magic and how these things work, but wouldn't that require them to be here?
No, not in the slightest.
Magical tradition checks can be rolled on that one.
I mean, I will go ahead.
Well, if I recall, you were worried about them infiltrating Regrowth and giving nightmares to people. That implies they need some level of vicinity.
Yeah, vicinity is one thing, but I mean, dream messages can reach real far.
Okay, Tharsus rolled a 30. Belladonna rolled a 22. Belladonna, you know the base information. Dream messages and spells like that can reach very, very far. But Tharsus, off your Arcana of 30. And then Anden backing you up with a 37. The two dwarfs of the party look at one another. They've heard of dream magic and dream messages. That was way too powerful. Tharsus, you know in your mind, you know what did you in on that 20. Anden can't make it because he was gone before then. But Tharsus, you know off that 30 that you got hit with a phantasmal killer of 8th rank. That is way too powerful. Especially for a shared dreamscape as well.
I don't think it was a dream in a typical sense of a dream type spell. Do you know... I know what we got hit with once Anden vanished. We got hit with a phantasmal killer. That, from what I can remember, is at least an 8th rank spell.
Well,
Which means...
for clarification, technically you would know its base rank is 4, but you would also know that was way more powerful than a 4th. That was you do know in game as well. That was an 8th rank casting.
Let me correct myself then. So what we got hit with was normally a phantasmal killer, about 4th rank. Whatever they did to it, upped its potency by a lot.
I mean,
Right.
it's...
What is this bloody Arcana? Always coming in for numbers on things.
Well, this
Scary.
Well, this is where your 37 kicks in now, Anden. Because you look at it from a nature magic's perspective. You know of dream spells as well. They are a part of nature. You can commune through nature as well. And you can even give off animal messengers. To implant someone into a dreamscape is not impossible. But a collective consciousness like the four of you into one dream space, and then not only that, but being able to cast a 8th rank heightened spell on top of the spell that's already being cast upon you. And then you look down at BB and you have a revelation as the camera fades out for today. BB wasn't there. You called for BB, but within 10 minutes, she didn't come. And it wouldn't take 10 minutes to barrel through a house like this. And that's where we'll pick it up next time on the Wardens of Regrowth.